Hello, my name's Roxy Wright, and I am an Equestrian Canada certified riding instructor. I'm also a CANTRA, Canadian Therapeutic Riding Association, intermediate therapeutic riding instructor. I'm also a level 2. I hope that connected. I'm also a level 2 centered riding instructor. I'm also an EFT practitioner and a Qigong instructor and trainer and healer. And I have a bunch of modalities of things that I do to help myself, number one, and other people connect with life in a more balanced way. I'm coming on here to do this live about EFT, emotional freedom techniques, because I see so many posts, especially in my riding instructor Facebook communities, about anxious riders and kids that have skills at some point and then they just lose those skills and what's going on there, what they can do. And so there's some physical things that you can do with them in your actual instruction. But so often when any of us are caught in a progression and then a backwards movement, we've got a program running in our background that we don't understand and we don't know how to unlock from and unhook from. And so that's going to be the focus of this video. It's going to be a little bit longish. It took me months to get my certified EFT practitioner certificate. So this is going to be just the basics of it. But I'm going to tell you a story first because it'll tell you how quickly and how easily EFT can help, and you don't have to really even know much about it. So first of all, what is EFT? It stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Now, isn't emotional freedom something we all want? And then the techniques part is a skill. It talks about the skill that helps you get emotional freedom. Ta-da! Very simple. So that's what it is. That's what the name means. And here's my story, first of all, behind it. About 6 or 7 years ago, I was doing some online study with a riding instructor and Olympic coach named Jane Savoy. And if those of you who know her, she's passed away now, but she was one of the first people that put out digital classes for horsemanship and especially for dressage. Excellent instructor. I was actually able to take a workshop from her here in Canada. But Jane put out this thing once in a newsletter about EFT, emotional freedom techniques. And it's a tapping mechanism. And we tap on different parts of our bodies and it looks kind of silly. But there's a whole raft of science behind it. So bear with me, I'll get to that. So I dabbled in it a little bit and just tried some and knew the basics of it, that you really expand what you feel, what you truly feel, and tap on certain parts of your body while you then give a certain affirmation about it. But the focus was really expanding and feeling and honoring what you truly deeply feel inside. Because so often we're told, especially in the riding industry, oh, suck it up, get back on that horse. Don't be scared. That horse will know it if you're scared. Well, you can pretend you're not scared, but the horse reads the emotion behind, and the horse goes, oh, that person's scared? Well, I should be scared too because that's my leader, and let's be scared together, and zoom, off we go. In a nutshell, that's how it works, right? Because the horses read us. They read everything that's vibrating because every emotion we have is a vibrational emotion. So here's my story about how I truly lucked into the power of EFT. I had this rider, and we all have these riders, right? Who goes in, and when we go into fear, our amygdala, the part of our brain, which I'll probably talk about a little bit later, our amygdala puts us into fight, flight, or freeze, because the amygdala is the part of the brain that first decides if whatever's happening out there, whatever stimulus it sees, is going to kill the mechanism it's in, me, the human. And if it is, if the amygdala decides this person's going to die, it puts us into fight, flight, or freeze. So this little rider was riding my Connemara pony named Mary. And Mary is a very feely pony, very, very, very feely. So they're at sea, they're in a riding class. My arena is 80 wide, 160 long, so it's a pretty big space. And Mary started to trot. Melissa, the little girl on her, went into freeze. So Mary trots over to M, comes across the arena, changed the rein across the diagonal, just like she's supposed to do. And she's trotting, but Melissa is frozen. I can see her little eyeballs this big. And I've got a microphone on, and I'm upping my arena voice. And I'm saying, pull on the right rein, just so that she could do an emergency stop. Melissa is doing absolutely nothing. She is totally in freeze. And the more she's in freeze, the more fear she's got going. And Mary goes into the corner by Kay. Those of you who are riding instructors, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Mary stops. I say to Melissa, take that right rein, pull her around into an emergency stop. Melissa is still in freeze, does absolutely nothing. Mary goes up the long wall. Now she's at a trot and then a canter, books it over to Am, bucks her off into the wall. It was ugly. So, took Melissa off the horse. I did not say get back on that horse. Did some self-care with her, set her up on the ramp. She comes back to class the next week. And of course, I'm not putting her back on Mary. I'm putting her on Lula. Lula's a draft horse, 23 years old, unshakable. But Melissa says to me, and she's in tears at this point. She goes, I really, really, really want to ride, but I'm so scared. And I'm thinking, yes, you are. And you're immobilized by the fear that's running back there that she has no idea. She wants to get rid of it. She wants to release it, but has no idea how. And I thought, what am I going to do with this kid? And then I remembered, oh, I got this EFT thing. I wonder how that works. May as well try it. So I took her into a little bit of a private spot. She had a helmet on, so I couldn't even tap on the top parts of her head parts. And I didn't really know what I was doing at the time anyway. I just thought, I'm going to give this thing a whirl. So I said to her, so I'm going to get you to tap. It's going to be a little silly. I'm going to get you to tap on these little spots on your face. And I'm tapping as I talk. I said, and I'm going to talk. And you just tap. And just think in your mind the things that I'm going to say. So as she tapped, and I tapped too so that she could simply follow me by watching me, I said, that was terrifying. I thought I was going to die. Mary took off on me. Then she bucked me off and I hit the wall and it really, really hurt. And I'm just tapping on here and I'm blowing up exactly what she felt. But at the same time that we were blowing up what she felt, we were tapping. Now, since I've studied further in Chinese medicine and acupuncture and especially Qigong, this is a bladder meridian. This is a stomach meridian. This one specifically is for anxiety because I've now gone deeply into EFT. So I know what these meridians mean. That's not the purpose of this particular episode, but this is science. So we're tapping literally 1 minute. She takes a big breath, which is spontaneous. And she goes, okay, I'm ready to ride. And I went, seriously? That was it? She goes over. I put her on a lead line and put her on Lula, but she did not get her amygdala attacking her again and hijacking her. So that was my introduction into the use of EFT, and I went, wow, that's pretty powerful stuff. So dove in deep. I've got some notes here so I can follow it. So how it works is that brain, that amygdala, it's the size of an almond and it runs the whole brain. Because first of all, it says, are you going to die? And it puts us into that fight, flight, or freeze, that survival mechanism. Now, our world these days is in fight, flight, or freeze so constantly. And what that does to our does to us on a cellular level is have our cells constantly bathed in cortisol and adrenaline. And when we're bathed in cortisol and adrenaline, just like the horse, if that head is up and he's bathed in cortisol and adrenaline, he only thinks about running. If we can get the head down, we get some endorphins washing through the horse's body. If we can get some endorphins washing through our own bodies in that space, we can allow the amygdala, which that little almond size bit that runs the whole brain, to release its hold and allow the rest of the brain to process. So we do that by actually tapping. And these are meridian points that run in different parts of our body. And this one here is called the karate chop point, and it's between the base of the little finger and the heel of the hand. And so when we tap on this particular spot, while we expose exactly how we're feeling and make it as big as we possibly can, we here reset our electromagnetic polarity. And that might sound kind of strange, But if you are a scientist and you know anything about the electromagnetic energy in the body, you'll understand that. And if you're not, trust me, because it works. I see it working so often. So as we tap, we want to stay in this spot for a while because this really resets it, and then we're going to go to the face spaces. But as we tap here, we say, even though I am so terrified, and here's where you really blow it up. And if you need to use swear words, use swear words, because you just kind of have to really, really, truly, deeply feel exactly what you're feeling. Because when we, especially in the equestrian world, when we say, oh, suck it up, get back on that horse, we stuff stuff down. We push it into our cells, and then our cells are constantly bathed in that cortisol and adrenaline, even though we're trying to pretend that they're not, but they are. So we're hooping ourselves. So as we tap and we say, just like I said to Melissa, that was terrifying. That was horrible. She bucked me off. I thought I was going to die. And if you tap in, while you're listening to this, tap along with me. And you might not feel any changes, but bring up an idea of something that you have that you're kind of scared about, and feel how relieving it is to really admit how horrible that is. And so we can say, and that big breath that I just took was spontaneous, because even though I'm not specifically bringing up anything into my mind about what I'm dealing with, because I'm talking to you, my body went and took a sigh, because I'm tapping on this space, and whatever it's releasing now, it's just releasing. We don't have to know everything about what we're releasing. That is the beauty of it. You don't have to go back and say, well, when I was 3 years old, this and this and this happened, or this traumatized me. We just start tapping and we just start feeling, and then our body starts changing and we start going, and I've been talking really, really fast because I'm feeling a little bit anxious, because I want to give you information. And now as I'm slowing down and tapping, now my whole body is settling and my brain is clearing. And now notice that my voice has slowed down, and now I can give you more information more clearly. So we tap on this karate chop point and we blow up exactly what we're feeling, make it really big. And so when I'm working with my riders, I have them take that karate chop point, and either, if they're riding Western, they pound on the saddle horn, or they pound on the pommel, or they can pound on their leg. And I just have them say, this is what I'm feeling. And I will give them words, because very often, especially when you first start this, they're not going to have words of their own. So boy, that was pretty scary. Wow. Oh, and then you might even want to say, where do you feel that in your body? And they might go, oh, my gut. And just allow them to be and feel. Get a holder for the horse if you need to. And if they can stay on the horse to do it, that's even more helpful, because they will see, as they start to own what they feel, that horse's head's going to drop and the horse is probably going to start to blow. And then you'll go, and then you can show them, when you're changing what's happening in you, and you may not have had the skill to change it, but this is simply changing it. When you're changing what's happening in you, the horse is all of a sudden changing. Another story. So same horse, Little Miss Mary. I had a summer class going, and I had 6 riders in the class, and I had lots of co-pilots. So that's somebody that's assigned to each rider. And I had one rider fall off, and then their horse took off, which set off another horse, and another rider fell off. And so I had two loose horses, 4 mounted riders, beginner class. And my co-pilots are all gently approaching these loose horses who have been running around. And I see this little kid at sea in the corner on Mary, who's that feely horse, tapping like this because I had just taught them EFT. And so she's tapping, and Mary's standing there with her head down while all the rest of the horses are running around, because the rider was controlling, and was not controlling, but was managing herself through this little skill that I had just taught her. Hallelujah. One day, a therapeutic riding student came in, and they come to therapeutic riding because they have things that are requiring some extra intervention. This particular rider had a lot of anxieties, and anxieties that would freeze her up, and that's why she was in therapeutic riding. The school had sent her to me. So she comes in one day, Velcroed to her mother, glammed onto her, and this rider at that point was probably 5 years old. And the mom's looking at me over her head going, I have no idea what's going on today, but she is so locked down in anxiety, but I thought we should come anyway. And I said, all right, good, thanks. So as we got her helmet and put her helmet on her, I said, I'm just going to tap on your back for a minute, okay? And so I asked for permission to actually tap on her. I don't usually tap on other people, but a child like that, and it wasn't really permission. The mother was there. And so I was saying, I am going to tap on your back. And so as I tapped on her back, I just said, because you can kind of tap anywhere. This is really, really foolproof. There's no way you can screw this up. As I tapped on her back, I said, this might be what you're thinking. You might be thinking something like, I don't know why I'm so scared all the time, but I am so scared all the time. I don't know why I didn't want to come today, but I just didn't want to come. And I don't know why I'm so scared, but I'm so scared all the time. So I tapped on her back for about 30 seconds and just gave that little bit of ramble. She takes a breath and she goes, walks over, gets her brush, stands at the gate and calls, "Gate!" And her mother and I looked at each other and went, well, that was easy, wasn't it? Because it is so cool that way. Now let me look at my notes and see. So I also have another rider currently who is 14 years old and has an anxiety disorder. She's actually a very skilled rider. And I've had to change her and kind of move her to different horses so that I get a horse that can handle her anxiety. But every lesson she will come and she will say, I can't get on, I can't get on, I can't get on. And now she knows, and I can see her, she's pounding, you can't see my leg here, she's pounding on her leg, or she's really working hard to manage herself. And so with her, I'll push a little bit because I know that she's using the tapping to manage and release her anxiety. And so I will actually say, okay, let's get on your horse now. And I'll say, and her last lesson, she was so locked up and she wasn't using her EFT. And I said, okay, so do you want to ride? Because I wanted to really clarify, does this child really want to ride? I knew it wasn't the mom driving it, and she says, yes, I do. And I said, then you'll need to get on your horse. You're welcome to tap, you're welcome to do whatever you need to, but you need to get on your horse. So she gets on her horse and she goes like, I gotta get off, I gotta get off, I gotta get off. And I said, if you get off this time, but know that I've been working with this rider for months on this and she's at this stuckness. I said, if you get off this time, that's going to be a statement that says, I am not riding again. I am finished riding. I said, because we enter this space all the time. It's okay if you want to finish riding, but if you get off, you're finished riding. Is that what you want? No. And she starts pounding on her pommel, and she got herself riding because I was very willing to accept the fact that she was not going to ride again. And she was at that threshold saying, but she was also 14 years old, not 6 or 7. So you can make it into a game. And I'm actually going to create, it's the PowerPoint's all done. I just haven't had time to put together the class, but I'm going to create a class that you can come into and actually see the science behind it and stuff. But make it into a game and just blow it up. Allow them to feel exactly what they're feeling. And you tap at the same time. So you're going to show them. You can say, even though, and you can leave a space and then they can say it back or they can think it back in their mind. I am terrified right now. So tap along with me. Play with me, okay? Play this game because you're going to feel, because especially when you do the tapping along with the rider, it takes down all the anxiety that you have about your confusion about what you can do with this rider, your anxiety about performance anxiety. Oh, I'm the coach. I got to get this rider going. The parents are watching, blah, blah, blah. And the parents might go, well, now you're enabling this child's fears. What you are doing is clearing the child's fears. You're allowing the child to feel their fears and actually release them rather than just feeling them and having them caught and hijacked. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, what it is cellularly. So remember I talked about the adrenaline and the cortisol and the endorphins and those feel-good hormones. If my hand was a cell and my palm is the cell wall, on the outside of the cells we have receptor sites, and we have trillions of cells in our bodies, and each cell has millions of receptor sites. And these receptor sites are receptor sites for the hormones that create and facilitate our emotions. And so each receptor site is it receives the hormone of, like, and there are so many hormones, and I'm not a nurse or a doctor, so I'm not even going to try and we're going to go with adrenaline and cortisol and endorphins and dopamines, the ones that feel good. This is very cursory. But when our cells are bathed in the adrenaline and the endorphin and the cortisol, the receptor sites for, because when we're in constant fight, flight, or freeze, the receptor sites for the endorphins and the feel-good hormones are going to start to atrophy. And they'll actually grow more, I understand. They'll grow more receptor sites for adrenaline and cortisol because that's what is constantly there. And so the more anxious we are, the more anxious we will become because our cells are adapting and bringing in more sites for those things. As soon as we start tapping, the amygdala stands down a little bit and we get a little bit of a shot of endorphins. And now that can wake up some of the atrophied endorphin receptor sites. So the more often we can put in an endorphin of any sort, the more often those ones will wake up. And as soon as we feel the adrenaline and the cortisol coming back in, if we receive it and say, here's that fear again, and start tapping again, even though I'm feeling scared again, I'm an okay person now. So now we've talked about blowing up the exact feelings that are creating the adrenaline and the cortisol, and now we're going to pair them while we're talking and while we're tapping. Now we're going to pair them with a positive affirmation. And you might think, well, that's a fake job. It is a thought we're bringing in, and our brain can only hold one thought at a time. And it's an invitation to bring in another idea. And as soon as we bring in the other idea, the hormones will change, and hormones can change in a nanosecond. They truly can, because we have all known that we've kind of gone from feeling great to feeling miserable in a nanosecond. So those hormones can change, and we can do things physically with our bodies. Why do we do groundwork with our horses? Why do we disengage those hindquarters? Because we're changing the chemistry of the horse's brain. That's a whole nother class. I'm teaching that one too. But so we change our chemistry by changing our body position. We're tapping on our body. We're tapping on this spot here. We're going to the side of the eye. We're going under the eye. We're going under the nose. We're going at the chin. We're going at the collarbone. We're also going to go to the armpit area, just right at your bra strap, and the top of the head. Now, if you don't get all those spots, don't worry about it. Just get tapping and honor the true emotion of what is there, and then invite in a new emotion. So even though I'm bloody terrified to ride this damn horse because it just bucked me off, or because I'm afraid it's going to buck me off, and we're sitting on the 23-year-old horse that is like, yeah, whatever. But our mind has this vision going on, and so that's what it's running on. As we tap, we're releasing that vision. And you can say, even though all of that stuff, I'm a good kid. And just say that to the kid. Even though I'm terrified to ride, I'm a good kid. So make it not attached to any doing of any sort, just simple worth. Even though I may never want to ride again in my life, I'm a good kid. That's okay. Even though I feel horrible right now, even though I am absolutely terrified, it's okay to own exactly what I feel. So we're giving what we're feeling, we're giving in some okayness of some sort. And as soon as we bring in that okayness, the feel-good hormones go to the cells. And so yes, you're going to be doing adrenaline, endorphins, adrenaline. But the more often the endorphins are coming in, even for a split second, the more those receptor sites are coming up now. And now the rest of the brain can work and the rest of the body can unlock. Now, another thing that is really, really helpful and works with that amygdala as well is, and notice that oftentimes as I'm talking about this, I am bringing in a smile. So I'm in that focused mode. I call this focus face. But as your kids are riding, they are taking instruction from you. They've got so much going on. You know how many body parts they're running just to post the trot. We often stop and count them. My head, my shoulders, my chin, my this, my that. We come up with 10 or 12 body parts just so that they're aware of, hey, I'm working really, really hard just to post a trot. I got 10 different body parts I'm trying to manage. And if I'm 6 years old or 7 years old or 8 years old, I don't have the brain body capacity yet to put all those things together. And if we as coaches can make all of that okay and just allow the kid to be where they are, it's really, really helpful. So we say something like, even though I'm really terrified right now and I can't figure out what I'm doing and I don't even know why I'm so terrified, I'm an okay kid. And it's okay to feel exactly as I feel. You could say, I'm willing to love myself. That's a big one, because there's going to be all kinds of yeah buts in the background. If you go online and you find EFT, you're probably going to hear, even though blah, 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 I love and accept myself completely. That is a big statement to make. And sometimes that one can backfire if you're early on. So you can say, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to do this stupid thing that this coach is now telling me to do. But if you make it a game and say, hey, let's all tap now. Let's clap, because as we clap, we're taking a point right here. Make sure that your horse is either held or that they can handle a child clapping. You're taking another acupuncture point that goes directly to the heart. Again, calms everything down. One thing that's really important, though, is the face. Put a smile on your face. I'm going to take you through a little short exercise right now. Okay, so breathe out, close your eyes, and feel your body at the moment, and you're just checking in to feel what your body feels, and use simple focus face. So you're going to have no expression or even a frown if possible. And so just simply feel into your own body, feel what it's feeling with that focus face. And then I'm going to give you an action word, and I want you to take that action, and as you take that action word, I want you to feel what changes in your body, and maybe put it into the comments if you see this at any time. So quiet, we're going to take 3 long, slow, deep breaths with focused face. Use your awareness to feel what's happening in your body. Smile. Now, when you smiled, what changed in your body? Even though I have done this exercise hundreds of times with people, every time I know what's going to happen, but when I'm in focus face, I feel what's happening in my body. As soon as I put the smile on my face, I feel an elevation and a softness in my chest. So as your riders are riding along, they're coming to this line of trot poles, maybe to a cross rail, and they're focused because they've got 10 different body parts that they're working on with themselves, plus a horse underneath them, plus this stuff coming up, and they're very focused and determined, and their faces like this. If you can say, hey, blow out. This is why we blow out those birthday candles, blowing out. Hey, blow out, and add a silly smile to your face. Catch some bugs in your teeth or something funny that will make them smile. As soon as we smile, the amygdala says, oh, if they're smiling, there must not be that big danger, and allows the rest of the body, the rest of the brain to work, and the whole body relaxes. The joints relax. We all know that riders' joints create stiff joints on horses. Whatever, we've all got corresponding body parts. Whatever body part I'm holding stiffly, that corresponding body part in my horse will be held stiffly as well. So that smile that we just, make the lessons fun, make them silly, especially when they're coming up to something that's stressing them, that that they're capable of. Don't overface them. That that they're capable of. They're coming up to that. Okay, where's that big smile? Blow out that birthday candle and or get your lips flapping or something like that. So that they are telling their body to relax and go with the horse and go with themselves. So I hope this is helpful. My website is roxywright.com. I do not have the EFT class up yet. This is a real good push for me to get it done and get it posted so that you can have a look at it and see if it's something that you want to use in your arsenal. You can also tap on, just a quick review, tap on that karate chop point. So this is a saddle horn or a pommel, okay? So they can sit with their hand and they can tap. They can also, hands are on the reins. Those reins are coming through here. They could tap right there on their fingertips. So they could do that while they're riding. This is called stealth tapping. You can do this in your pockets. Put your hands in your pockets and be tapping right there as well. Those aren't quite as effective points. This karate chop point is the most effective. So here at the karate chop point, we feel exactly what we're feeling. We name exactly what we're feeling. We expand exactly what we're feeling, because if we're only willing to name it a little tiny bit, you can bet that in the background, there's a whole lot more about what's really, really going on about that we don't even know about. It's those programs running in the background that we do not understand and do not have control of. That's why the child may say, I really want to ride, but I can't. because they don't have access to those programs. This gives them access to the programs. So, quick review. I know I talk too much. Quick review. Tap, explode, everything what it is. Even though I feel this, I'm a good kid, I'm a great kid. If you can get to the points, all this pain, all this terror, all this fear, I am so scared, I am so damn scared. If there's got to be some bad words, let them rip, because sometimes those are the only ones that hold the emotion, the true depth of the emotion. Sometimes those swear words are really, really helpful, especially if you've just been bucked off. So if a kid's going to swear, especially in that space, let her rip. And if you're getting it triggered by their swearing, you tap yourself. Just let them. Don't interrupt that at the moment. That's true expression. Tapping the collarbone and then just staying in with, I am so scared. Oh my goodness, I am so scared. You think you're tapping it in, you're actually tapping it out. I am so scared. I am so scared. I am terrified. Oh my goodness, that was horrible. Oh shit. Whatever you need to say. And know, I don't like to swear. It's not part of my everyday constant vocabulary, but there's sometimes when there just isn't another expression. And then you're going to look for a spontaneous big sigh like I just did. And that was spontaneous. It wasn't planned. So look for a sigh. And then you can start putting in, maybe I can see something different. Maybe if I remember that our horse will go where we look. So now we're going to put in an affirmation. I can take this at the pace that I want to. I can decide what I want to do. I can walk with confidence. I can halt my horse with confidence. So especially if they've had a mishap, back them up into something that you know that they can execute with strength, even if it is sitting on their horse. I can sit on my horse, back it all, down the training scale, back to rhythm. Sitting is a rhythm. It's a pause, but it is a rhythm. So go back down that training scale, take them back to a place where they feel confident. I can sit quietly on my horse. I can stroke my horse's mane. I can feel love for my horse. I can feel love for myself. I can accept myself. My feelings are valid. My feelings are mine and they are worth something. My feelings are mine. I can feel what I want to feel. And then something might come up again. No, I can't. Damn it, that was so scary. And so that fear might come up again. So go back in. And you can't necessarily do all of this in a full lesson. Take little bits of it. But you'll be amazed at how quickly it will work. With Melissa, it worked in like a minute. And it was absolutely astounding. So you might start using it, and within 45 seconds, the kid is okay. And you think you may forget to use it the next time because of the swiftness of its working, you may negate the actual skill. But it is that skill. So, and as you're driving along, you can tap on your steering wheel of your car. You can tap on your leg. Just feel and accept what we're feeling while we're tapping. Pair it with a positive process, a positive affirmation of some sort, because what we've done is we've released that hold that and I don't call them positive, I try and call them expanding emotions, which are the positive ones, and contracting emotions, which are the negative ones, because that fear saves us. It keeps us from getting on things that are gonna kill us, quite frankly. So we have to honor. We are invited to honor. We don't have to do anything. We're invited to honor all of the emotions that we own. And as we honor them and tap on them, they can get balanced and go into the spaces where they need to go. We always want fear available to us. It will save us. We don't want to be stepping out into traffic. We don't want to get on that horse that we're overfaced with. Truly, there are some horses that we should not be getting on, quite frankly. So I hope that this helps. If you'd like clarification, I know I talked fast, I might have rambled. I am going to put that class together hopefully in the new year. You'll see it on my website, roxywright.com. If not, message me. I'm more than happy to engage with people on this level. I can make more of these videos if you want something that's more a little bit concise. I'm happy to provide it. I love you. Namaste. Enjoy the horses. Right now in Canada, it is, well, where I live, it is minus 37 with a wind chill of minus 50. Stay warm. Tap, tap, tap. I love you. Bye-bye.